Welcome to the Best Things Podcast. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget to follow us on all the socials at Best Things Pod as well. Now, here are your hosts, Craig and Aaron.
Hello, Internet. Good, happy, whatever day it is you're listening to this. I almost said good Friday because that's when we're recording this, but...
This is not Good Friday.
And it's not, it's not the actual holiday.
But it's a Good Friday.
It is a Good Friday.
It's also 2022.
Yeah, if you're listening to this on the day of, like you're listening to this on Monday, so maybe you're starting out your week with the lovely voices of your pals, Craig and Aaron.
We like to be in your beginning of the week routine. If we're not, you need to add us there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, welcome to the Best Things, where we're just two guys searching for the best things in a lot of stuff, and you can usually catch us talking about food.
We do like that subject.
We do love talking about food. But today we're going to talk about another one of our favorite subjects, and that is the world of technology. Aaron, this was your pick. This was one of your picks for the pod.
Yeah. We both have an affinity for tech, all things tech, and have for... I mean, when did it start with you? When did you first really think, man, I like techie stuff?
So I would say my first real affinity for technology probably happened... Oh, man. I remember having a Toshiba laptop. You remember my old Toshiba,
I do.
Right?
Yep.
And I got a MacBook. That's when it happened for me because we had worked with some MacBooks doing the publishing stuff, and I was like, I want to get one of these of my own. And that was like the snowball effect. Then came the iPhone, then came everything else, and it's just like this snowball.
So what people need to know up front is that we are both deeply invested financially
Absolutely.
in the Apple ecosystem.
Yeah. You look around our studio right now, there is no less than 7 Apple devices sitting out, and I know we both have some in our backpack. Yeah, you got AirTags, AirPods, so do I. Like, we are all in on Apple.
Is there an Apple product that you don't own?
I don't. I mean, I have Apple computers, but I don't have I don't have an iMac like here at the house.
Right.
Like I work on them all the time, but like
on a weekly basis, do you use an iMac?
Yes.
Mac Mini?
Yes.
A MacBook Pro?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you use all of those. I don't have the Mac Pro, any of the real expensive. I don't have those.
No. I don't have AirPods Max.
Okay, yeah, I don't either. That would be my one Apple product that I don't think I would ever purchase.
I mean, I'm sure it'd be really great. It'd probably be an upgrade from the headphones we're wearing right now.
Probably.
But I don't know. That's
I like
a
my
lot of money.
AirPods.
Yeah.
My AirPod Pros.
Yeah.
We both have watches.
We do.
AirTags.
Yeah. Check.
iPads.
Yeah.
iPhones.
Yeah.
You were an owner of the original iPhone.
I was. I still have it. I don't know if it's in here. I think
it needs to be in a display case like that.
Yeah. I think it may be. I think I have it in its box in my closet there.
I think that it needs to be in a display case like that with some way to keep it powered, so that way the display is just always on.
It doesn't power anymore. It doesn't power on anymore.
Well, there goes that idea.
And I don't know that I have a charger for it anyway. I mean, I guess I could find one, but those old...
It was the 30 pin.
Yeah, 30 pin. That's right.
Yeah.
Before the... So I don't have that anymore.
You were the first person I know that got the iPhone, the original
Really?
iPhone. I came on with the 3G, the next phone.
Mm-hmm. We've got Apple TVs. We both have Apple TVs.
I forgot. You have the new Apple remote.
I do have the new Apple remote.
Which I am going to get at some point, probably when I get a new Apple TV itself.
Yeah. That is probably the one thing recently that I It's fine. Like it wasn't groundbreaking. When I first saw it and looked at it, I was like, oh my gosh, I got it. That's a big upgrade. I wouldn't say it was. I don't think it's worth the $60.
Okay, that's the thing. The price point in typical Apple fashion, they have priced the remote at a whopping $60. So you're better off, I think, if you have an older Apple TV, don't just upgrade your remote.
But here's the problem though. Like if you in the case of ours, I broke our remote.
Which I did not know was possible to shatter a remote the way that you did.
Yeah.
That was a first for me.
It was a first for me. I mean, just from 6 foot up on concrete, that's how that happened. But so I had no choice but to get a new remote. And they don't, at least not that I could find. I guess I probably could have found some on eBay or Amazon or something. But on Apple's store, on their website, you couldn't get an older remote anymore. Which is what, that's what Apple does.
Right. The remote has the mute button, which is probably the most requested thing.
And it's got a designated power button too.
It does.
Which is nice.
So at some point, I'm going to get the new remote. I wish that they had included, and I don't know why they didn't include a chip in it that allows you to track your remote, because people lose their remotes all the time.
That's a good point. Like, put the AirTag technology inside the remote.
Because they make silicone cases that people are putting on their Apple TV remotes that hold an AirTag just for that purpose of being able to find your remote.
Yeah.
So I think Apple missed there, or maybe they didn't. Maybe they were just like, these suckers are going to buy this remote, and then we're going to bring out a new remote in a couple of years, and we'll put that technology, because I think they hold stuff back on us on purpose.
I would agree with that 100%. I absolutely do.
We would be accused of being Apple fanboys.
I have been on many occasions.
And it doesn't bother me.
No, I'm not upset by it.
I think that they have earned my trust.
Well, yeah.
Their products, the track record of their products that I have owned, there's a reason why I keep going back to them.
I've got some friends who swear by PC. Well, that's the thing. They don't swear by PC. Like, you don't see many PC fanboys.
No.
But they've got them. They just don't see the appeal of a Mac. They say, why is it so expensive? Why is it worth the money? The thing is, Apple, regardless of anything else you can say about Apple, you got to admit they do what they do well. Like, they're not putting out products that are going to break down on you easily or mess up or get viruses or anything like that. They take security and doing things with excellence. That's their MO.
Yeah.
And that's why I appreciate it. I haven't had to worry about virus software in 12 years,
It's so weird when I'm working with somebody who has a PC, because I get called from different friends like, hey, you're the tech guy. Can you help me set up this new computer? And when I have to go back to actually trying to operate a Microsoft product,
yep,
it's very strange. And then I think, oh, wait, you've got to have virus software on this.
Yeah.
And install it. It's just really weird. And I tell them, here's an annual cost that you're going to have that I don't have.
Yeah.
But as far as the cost on like a laptop versus laptop thing goes, if you want to get a laptop that has the same sort of benchmark that the MacBook Pro would have, you're going to spend some money on a PC as well. I mean, it's not really that much difference in the cost then.
It's really up to the user. Like my wife, Lauren, she doesn't need a lot of this stuff.
No.
She's got an old MacBook Pro that is probably the equivalent of most new PCs today. But, it's like, gosh, 6-7 years old, and that's all she needs. She just needs to get on the internet from time to time and type out documents and stuff like that.
And to Apple's credit, you have something like the MacBook itself, where they brought the price of the MacBook down and made it more affordable. And it's a really powerful computer for those who don't need a pro computer. Mm-hmm. It's got a lot of pro features for not being a pro computer.
Yeah.
All of that's not what we're talking about today, though. We're here to talk about apps.
Apps. When iPhone introduced the apps to the phone, What year was that? What generation of phone was it? 3GS?
It had to be the 3G,
3G?
right?
I don't remember.
I'm gonna look. 2008.
Okay, so that would have been the second version. That would have been iPhone 3G. Because if you remember the original, well, you never had the original, right?
No.
It didn't come with hardly anything. Like
Exactly.
The appeal was you could call, you could text, you could surf the internet. There was music. YouTube came on it. No, it didn't come on it till the 3G, but you couldn't. There was no app store.
Right.
And you had. I don't even know if you had maps at that point.
I don't think that you did.
I mean, it was one page. There was a home page that had how many apps were on there. And that was the beautiful thing. Imagine that. Like, people went crazy over that phone with no other apps on it than your basic necessities. And when Steve Jobs came out and introduced the App Store and then handed it over to developers, that was the kicker, is that let other people have complete creative freedom to put it on Apple's platform. I just listened to another podcast not too long ago that said that was a big point of contention, but in the Apple executive boardroom. Steve wanted to give apps away, let other people create them, and some of the Apple board members were not on board with it. They're like, why in the world would we let developers have free access over our phone?
And Apple has always really kind of had that.
They really have. That it was such a unique thing for them to do. And really, honestly, still is to this day. They do a lot with developers. They have WWDC every year for developers. But apps have come a really long way.
I was just looking through some of the standard things that came on the original iPhone. Google Maps was on there.
Oh, that's right.
Which
Apple didn't have their own maps.
just looking back seems really odd.
Yeah, Apple didn't have their own maps. They had to use Google.
The keyboard, that was kind of a big deal.
It was a huge deal. To be able to have, because again, there's a great podcast. Go look at it's Wondery's Business Wars. They do one on Apple versus Android, and or I think it's Apple versus BlackBerry, and they do a really great job of giving some insight, because not having a physical keyboard, that was a big deal to Steve Jobs. He didn't want it.
When you owned the original iPhone, it felt so groundbreaking. And we've talked about this before, that if you handed somebody an original iPhone today...
Oh, they wouldn't. If you give a kid, just a teenager today... Y'all, sorry if you're hearing me hack up a lung over here. I choked on a piece of ice about 10 minutes ago, and it's not wanting to leave. But if you give a teenager a OG iPhone 1 today, they're not going to know. There's nothing to kill time with. There was no games on it. Like, there was, at least on like a Nokia candy bar phone, you had Snake.
You had Snake, yeah.
I guess that you could go back and call that like early age of apps. But the iPhone had no game on it at all.
I remember visual voicemail being kind of a big deal.
That was awesome. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on from the retrospective. For time's sake, I guess we probably need to. Let's talk about apps, okay? I guess we can save our favorite apps for the end, because it may be one of the better ones. But you want to start with games?
That's a wonderful place to start.
Okay. There are a lot of games on the iPhone. I guess they're on Android too. Although, if we look at our numbers, like who's listening to our podcast, you can look at the analytics. It's overwhelming Apple podcast users. So you're probably listening to this on an Apple device. Listen, like Aaron said, we are pro Apple fans. So if you are an Android user or something else out there, let us know. Tweet at us at Best Things Pod. You can email us now at feedback@bestthingspod.com. And let us know what your favorite app is on your platform.
before we actually talk about them, I want to say that the Apple App Store actually sits nearly 1 million apps behind Google's Play Store.
Really?
They have 2.7 million apps. iOS is sitting at 1.82 million. And I think it's, again, Apple, I think they guard their apps a little bit more.
Yeah. They're probably more stringent, with their protocol.
I think it's a little tougher to get an app on there. But I think that it results in the apps actually becoming better apps, that the usability of the apps on an iOS device is drastically superior to the usability of an app on an Android device.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So we're not going to talk about any Android apps today.
No.
Those are out.
Now, there may be some that cross over.
They may cross over.
But we're not talking about Android exclusive. There will probably be some iPhone exclusive.
Yeah.
All right. Last time, Aaron, you quizzed me on the sandwiches.
Yeah.
I don't want to make the whole thing a quiz, but I do have some. Do you think you can guess what the top free, this one's free, iPhone game was in 2021?
Just for that year.
For 2021. What is the most downloaded top free iPhone game? This is not necessarily iPhone arcade game, just
okay.
the
just
most
out of the
popular
App
game.
Store.
Yeah, on the App Store.
I remember back in the day, Paper Toss being a big deal, Angry Birds, those phases.
Gosh, I forgot about Paper Toss.
Paper Toss was amazing.
That was great.
It was. Man, what about Among Us?
Dude, you nailed it.
Did I?
Among Us was the number one downloaded game, free game on iPhone. Can you tell me for bonus points what the top paid game is?
The top paid game. I'm going to go with some sort of... how about Candy Crush?
Wrong.
Is it one of those puzzle games?
No. This is a game that is cross-platform. I will tell you that. Not just Apple, Android. This game goes beyond the...
Okay, so it stretches to actual gaming devices.
Yeah.
Something like Age of Empires, World of Warcraft, Clash of Clans. Am I on it? Am I right there?
Not quite.
Okay.
No. I'm just going to go ahead and give it to you.
Yeah.
Minecraft.
Oh.
Minecraft is the top
I didn't
paid
realize
game.
that it was available on iOS.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I didn't either. So it's available on iOS. I would have thought Fortnite. But Fortnite's, I don't know if you've played.
Nope.
Fortnite's tricky to play on a phone. I've played it. That's how because there was some people who wanted me to play, so I hopped on. I was like, oh, I have it on my phone. I'll just download it. And it was impossible to play. Much easier to play on an Xbox or something like that.
At one point, I had a ton of games installed on my phone.
Oh yeah.
I think I'm down to just a maybe 2 or 3 games on there. I'm trying to think of even Balls. You have that app?
Is that the one where they like drop into a cup?
No.
No.
No. This one you're shooting, trying to break little boxes or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's kind of like, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And you get more and more of them that'll shoot up and
Yeah.
you're bouncing them off.
That's a great game. That's a lot of fun.
It's a very simplistic game. And I tend to go more toward those than the really detailed, in-depth, where you have to come back every day, check on things. I don't know. I can't do those games.
No, I can't either, to be honest with you. Give me some other games. What are some other games that you think are some of the best ones? Not just of 2021, but of all time.
Well, again, I'd probably put Paper Toss in my top 5. Angry Birds, I think I feel like they were kind of one of those groundbreaking games.
They were one of the first games that I can remember that went like viral.
Yeah.
Like everyone was playing Angry Birds.
Candy Crush, very much the same way.
Yeah.
I never really got into Candy Crush, but a game has taken off when you see it advertised in TV commercials,
Yeah.
YouTube ads, Candy Crush ads.
Well, it really started a genre. Like, there's a ton of games that have tried to emulate it now.
Yes.
Like, they're just copycatting with different storylines.
Yeah.
Lauren and I got into Candy Crush for a hot minute, really late to the game. Like, I don't know about you, that's the trend with us. Like, we're always hopping on these games and these trends way late. And so we got into Candy Crush like a year ago during the pandemic. Like, we got there super late.
Okay, that is really late. Have you played Among Us?
I've tried. I don't get it, to be completely honest. There's better versions of that game out there.
I think I have downloaded it, but I'm not sure that I've ever played it.
Really? It is, to me, if we have anybody younger listening to this, they're going to laugh at me. But, like, to me, I just didn't quite... I understand you're trying to pick out who the imposter is. It's those little mini games in between that I don't quite get. Like, when I played it, I felt like I was just walking around in circles. I had no idea what to do.
And again, I think it sort of ages us. But I liked games like Snake.
Yeah.
And I remember downloading a Snake app on the iPhone a decade or so ago.
Yeah.
And really enjoying that.
There was a little bit of a resurgence in those types of games not that long ago, where it was a lot of the IO games where it was like domination, like you would envelop other people and then you would grow and continue until you had the whole area to yourself.
I watch something like WWDC and I see some of the games that people are bringing out, and that's just not the kind of games that I'm into.
No, they're they are console type games.
Oh yeah.
Role playing.
And it's one of the things I think iOS really has been successful at is making those games work really well on their devices.
Mm-hmm.
They look stunning. I'm not into them, but they look incredible.
It is amazing what they can do now.
And then we had the introduction in the last couple of years of Apple Arcade.
Yeah.
Which kind of was a big game changer.
Yeah. Because no longer you had to sit through ads.
Oh.
And, you could pay those other games to take away the ads, but having the arcade, they've adopted a lot of those old games too.
Yes.
So they've brought in, like, the balls and Pong and some puzzle games and stuff like that, and they've brought it to where there are no ads anymore.
Now, they added Oregon Trail.
Yeah. A lot of fun.
That was a blast.
It was a lot of fun.
That's one I have really enjoyed.
I tend to, the same thing goes for whenever I'm playing like console games too. I tend to lean towards sports games. So if it's just shooting free throws, how many you can make in a certain amount of time, darts, billiards, those tend to be the kind of games I lean to. That are puzzle games.
And I have been into these since they came out and still play them. Was playing them last night, and that's the pigeon games, the text message games. Where you can play, 8-ball, Scrabble, sort of like the Words with Friends was a real big deal. That was another
it's huge.
And so you've now got that ability where you can play it in a text message thread back and forth.
We're almost forgetting one of the biggest games that I can remember, Fruit Ninja.
Oh,
which is now on Apple Arcade.
Yes.
So you don't have to have you have to have the subscription,
right?
But you don't have to watch ads and sit through all that either. Angry Birds is on Apple Arcade too now. One of my favorite classic games, speaking of Snake, this predates Snake. Galaga is now on Apple Arcade.
Yes, it is. I forgot that.
It's a lot of fun. It's harder than the original game was.
What about Tetris? Is Tetris available?
I know I've seen it on the Apple Store. I don't know if it's an Apple Arcade game or not, but I have seen it. And it's fun to play too. Okay. You want to take a quick break, and then we'll get into other apps as well?
We got a lot of content about that.
We've got lots and lots of apps. Okay. We will take a quick break, and then we will be right back.
If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. with everything you need all in one place. Let me explain. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcast, and more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
And we are back. We're talking about apps today. Technology, one of our favorite subjects, right?
Absolutely.
We've covered why we are Apple fanboys. We have given more fodder to the people, that want to hate us.
I just had a big. You said Apple fanboys for some reason. Don't ask me why this popped in my mind. I was like, we should get Apple tattoos. Neither one of us have a single tattoo, and our first one will be an Apple tattoo. Did you have the Apple sticker on your car at one point? Yeah, I think we all did. That kind of went. Nobody does that anymore.
No, I never know what to do with the Apple stickers when they come in the box.
Yeah.
I've got them all saved somewhere.
I have another water bottle that's got a bunch of stickers on there. There's one on that, but I don't know what else to do with them. I don't know why they keep. Honestly, they could probably stop giving them out.
Yeah, everybody has them.
Yeah.
So we talked about games was really where we got to, talking about the best of the iPhone games. Did we actually name a best iPhone game app?
No, I think we can do that when we get toward the end. We can if we want to include them in our best we can.
Why don't we talk about social media apps? Isn't that what most people?
Honestly, yeah, but and you asked me earlier, how can we figure out what a worst one is for our paid subscriber podcast? Honestly, I could fill it with social media apps because I'm at that point in my life. I'm just over social media. They're all terrible.
It sounds like there could be a rant here.
I want to save it for the worst things.
That's what I was going to say. I think that people are going to want to tune in to hear this. We're just going to let Craig rant for a while. He's to the get off my lawn stage of life.
That crotchety old man. Yeah.
No, I think the last 2 years have done a number on people with social media, and you can really see how it can bring out the worst in people.
But you can also see it in the trends of social media because TikTok has blown up.
Yes.
And TikTok is the least controversial of all the apps, in my opinion. You
think so?
You can be that way, but most people use TikTok for entertainment.
Okay, yes.
They're wanting to laugh. They're wanting to see stupid videos. They're not looking to be political or,
No. But I feel like out of all of these social apps, I feel like I hear parents probably more concerned about TikTok than any of the other social media apps.
Yeah. But I wonder if it has to do with the fact that kids are just on it all the time.
Right.
More than what they're seeing.
The most downloaded, I shouldn't say, the most popular iPhone app of all time, according to Business Insider. You got any guess what it is?
TikTok?
No, that's a good guess.
Facebook?
Facebook.
Yeah.
Which isn't a surprise to me.
I really thought TikTok might have overtaken them last year.
And let me say, this is an old article.
Gotcha.
So it could be. This is a couple years old. So if TikTok has not replaced it as the most downloaded app,
I have the 2021 most downloaded. If you want to try to give me the top 5.
Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. Hang on.
Let's see if you can figure out who number 1 is first.
I'll go with TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok number 1. Can you guess number 2? This
Wechat.
This list might surprise you. No, not Wechat.
Telegram.
No.
Skype.
No.
Wow. Okay. I was trying to go a little more international.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah. So I need to come closer to home.
Come closer to home.
Twitter.
No.
Facebook.
No.
Wow.
Number 2, YouTube.
Oh, I should have thought of that.
Number 3,
Facebook.
No. I'm telling you, it's a surprising list.
Is it one I've already named?
No.
Wow.
Number 3, Instagram.
Okay.
Number 4 surprised the mess out of me because I thought this was gone.
Snapchat.
Yes. And number 5, Facebook. That surprised me. Snapchat I thought was long gone after Instagram came out with stories and then TikTok came out with the short form videos. I thought for sure Snapchat was gone.
I am surprised by that one.
Talking to some teenagers that I know, they say the only reason they said they never use Snapchat for what it's for. The only reason they use Snapchat is to keep up their streaks.
Oh, okay.
Because for some reason, like I literally was standing next to a teenager yesterday, and he had his phone. He pulled it open. And he had Snapchat, and I was like, "You have Snapchat still?" He goes, "Yeah, I just got to do this. I just got to keep up with the streaks." He literally took a picture of the floor and just tapped a bunch of people's name and sent it, and that was it. He does that every day.
Wow.
Just to keep the streak going. I mean,
That's dedication.
That is dedication. I don't get it at all, but I'm, again, the crotchety old man on this porch yelling at people to get off of his Facebook.
Okay, so what's the best social media app?
I am privy to Instagram personally. Let me put it this way. I'm on Instagram the most.
Even more than TikTok?
Yeah. I mean, I'll get on a once you're on it's like TikTok's like Pringles. Once you pop, you can't stop.
Okay, let's back up. Would you agree that TikTok is the most addictive of all the social media apps?
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
I mean, you can waste an hour there without it.
They were geniuses when they came up with their algorithm.
Yeah.
And it's proprietary. Nobody else can do that.
No.
And man, they start honing it in on what you like, and that's all they feed you.
So I think we're comfortable saying most addictive is TikTok. Instagram, for those, I think Instagram is a great social app for those who really don't want to be that social.
Oh, yeah, I would agree with that.
There's less drama.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think we all would agree that if you want drama, you're going to go to Facebook, right? That's where the drama is.
Absolutely right, yeah.
So I kind of have them segregated. You know, if I want to see photos that people are posting, I'm going to Instagram to look. If I want to keep up with like what people are doing in their lives, I'm going to look at Facebook.
Yeah.
And if I want information, if I want to see sports information, weather information, news, I go to Twitter.
Yeah. This could almost be its own episode because we could all go in a deep dive on this, but social media has to be used the right way.
Yeah.
And each platform has their pros and cons.
Sure.
The problem is when you're trying to use Facebook like Twitter and you're trying to use Instagram like TikTok, you're trying to make them something they're not. And the problem with Facebook or Meta now with Instagram is they are trying so hard to compete and trying to make Instagram TikTok. They're pushing views to the reels, they're pushing all this kind of stuff. And I told you, you're going to get me on my old man soapbox early. I'm going to save the rest of it for the worst things. So if you want to hear the rest of this rant, $2 a month, hit the link in the description, and I promise you the $2 will be worth it.
Do you use WeChat at all?
No, I use WhatsApp some.
WhatsApp, yeah.
Just because I've got friends over in Asia, and that's how I communicate with them sometimes. But a lot of them, I've got their phone number, and the walls aren't quite there in some of these a Hong Kong, Macau area like they are in mainland.
What about Skype?
I never use Skype. I think Zoom killed Skype. I think they put the nail in the coffin.
I would agree with that. We mentioned Snapchat. Do you use it anymore?
No, I don't even know if I have it on my phone anymore.
Let's see. Facebook Messenger. It feels very weird that it's its own app.
I know,
but it is now.
It is, and it's treated like its own social media network.
It does,
but it's not. Like it's the inbox for Facebook. That's all I use it as.
I didn't really understand breaking it apart. I know that they had a reason for it, but it just felt very weird.
Yeah.
Facebook, do you use it much?
I check it about once a day, I think. And
let me ask you this. If it weren't for using it to run other business accounts that you manage, if you weren't managing other things like that, would you have Facebook?
No, and I'm about an inch away from just getting rid of it completely. For my person, because you can do business stuff now without an account.
Yes.
And so I'm really close to just ditching it completely.
Just because of all of the.
There's no entertainment value anymore. You're not really connecting and building. At least that's my opinion. I don't. You're trying to trap me again. This is all teaser material, isn't it? For the bonus podcast, which I'm in favor of. Get people to go pay us to talk. But yeah, no, I don't like Facebook.
Where I have gotten to with apps, and I guess I'll kind of chime in with some of my stuff when we get to that exclusive part. I probably use Facebook and Twitter more though than any of the other social media apps.
Yeah.
Those would probably be the top two I go to. But where I have gotten to with apps is kind of, I guess, in the productivity realm.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where I really seem to enjoy the most. And it's probably just, getting older. Games, social media, things like that. Not as much. I get excited about productivity things.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So do you have a favorite productivity app?
So I was just looking on my phone to see if I can find it here, to see some of the stuff I do the most.
Do you consider YouTube to be social media, entertainment, productivity, all of the above? What is YouTube?
YouTube for me falls in line just like a Netflix or Hulu or HBO Max. I don't find now. Obviously, if I'm needing to look something up or if I need to know how to do something, I'll look at YouTube. But I have found myself, in my content watching part of my day, I find myself spending some quality time on YouTube watching certain shows or creators on YouTube.
Yeah. And I think at some point we should do a podcast on YouTube channels. I mean,
oh yeah,
there's a lot of
that's a great episode.
There's a lot of stuff that you could talk about just with YouTube itself.
Yeah.
But I am with you. I was trying to get on my phone and look at my screen time because I have a feeling that YouTube is probably one of the most used apps for me. Not as much for productivity. I'd say it's probably a 70-30 split. Things that I'm looking up to, help me. Mainly, I'm watching things for entertainment value.
Yeah.
But then a lot of cooking. All the useless information that I have stored about sandwiches. Most of that has come from a lot of YouTube watching and listening to different food creators on there.
Yeah, I'm looking through my screen time right now, and I'm really a boring person. Like, I've got calendar is high on my list. Safari is pretty high. The Starbucks app is on there. That's cracked my top 10. Amazon, mail. I mean, I'm a pretty boring phone user. I do a lot of power using on my laptop, working and stuff like that.
Right.
Mac Rumors is pretty high as a website. Fetch, which is a rewards program that you can use to scan receipts. My camera. I mean, Instagram's on there and TikTok's on there too. But I didn't realize how boring I was until I started looking at my screen time.
ESPN, was it ranked very high on yours?
No, I don't spend a lot of time on my ESPN
Yeah.
app, but I'll go on there to check a score or something like that.
I'm looking at mine. I've got Waze, which I want to talk about as we kind of get into here in a few minutes, but it's a navigation app.
Yeah.
Waze, Facebook, Twitter, ESPN, TikTok, Walmart, Scribd, YouTube, TV, music, podcasts. That's kind of where...
Yeah. Scribd was high on my list toward the end of last year. I haven't picked it back up yet, as I've just been so busy to start the new year. But that I'm sure will rocket to the top pretty quick.
Quick.
Quack. There's a duck in here.
Scribd. I wrote that one down. I've got it under kind of productivity / education. I use it a ton. I mean, I'm on there every day listening. if you're not familiar with Scribd, it's like Netflix for books.
Yeah.
Lots of ebooks and audiobooks. And I love reading and audiobooks, especially. I drive a lot, so I consume a ton of audiobooks. And that's probably one of, if I had to list a top 5, it's definitely going to be in my top 5, probably my top 3.
I find myself also just looking through. I'm like, what apps do I use a lot of? I use a lot of food apps.
Yeah.
So like Starbucks or Slim Chickens is a local fast food place in our area. Well, I think they're national now.
Yeah,
So Slim Chickens, I go there a lot. Doordash. I mean, that is probably my most consistent, is like on a regular basis. I find myself going to it because I place orders, and I can't tell you the last time I ordered food at a drive-through restaurant at the drive-through.
It annoys me to have to talk
know.
to somebody in the speaker and place an order.
What does that tell you about our society and our culture? Like, we've either advanced or we've put ourselves in an awkward situation.
I think you could do an entire episode on just the best food apps,
Yeah.
to download. But I use them for 2 reasons. One, I think, in my mind at least, I feel like there's a better chance of my order being accurate when I'm not having to rattle off how I want something customized.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Just for the customization purpose.
100% agree.
I trust it going to the computer and them actually seeing it, and not, somebody paying attention to a headset and hope that they heard what I said.
Mm-hmm.
So for that, I like to use the app. Second, rewards. And there's some great app rewards that you can get by doing that. So that's probably why I use it the most. And yeah, food apps would be up there at the top for me.
Another category that I use a lot are smart home apps. So stuff to manage devices and like your Ring doorbell, your thermostat. We just got smart light bulbs, which highly recommend. Like, we got them super cheap on Amazon. I don't know how long they're going to last us, but like, we got them on a Black Friday deal. I stinking love those things. So like, I'm constantly turning on light, using my phone. Now I can use Alexa and stuff too, and I do that. But like, I'm still a little old school in some ways when it comes to my smart technology, where I want to be able to just kind of customize and adjust it on my phone as well. So I'm constantly on one of my smart home apps.
I haven't got to really dive into the world of smart home products, just because, I live somewhat in a rural area.
Yeah,
I wouldn't necessarily think of it as being rural until you get there and realize that you can't get cell phone reception and you can't get internet. I'm 5 minutes from being in town.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you're not. It's not like
chose
this long, deep drive into the.
It's a technological rural area.
There you go.
It's like a black hole. So at some point, I'm going to have internet. I'm very optimistic that 2022 is my year.
Elon Musk,
please come through. Yeah. So when that happens, I can't wait to get into the world of the smart home products.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be right down my alley.
Oh, yeah.
Erica, if you're listening and we have internet this year, tell Santa that smart home products would be a wonderful, wonderful thing to add to the Christmas list.
Because Santa knows, just like you do it down deep in your heart, is going to happen regardless. Like, it's going to happen. Lauren is not a huge fan. She's never going to hear this. She doesn't listen to us. But she's not a huge fan of the smart home. She's still a little.
She's really old school, huh?
She's still a little analog. Yeah, she gets mad at our Nest thermostat all the time because
she rants at the thermostat.
She does because it's smart and it remembers whenever we adjust it, and it's trying to anticipate where we're gonna be. So it'll kick that error on a little too early for her. Whenever in the middle of the night we want it cool, but like she's like at 9 o'clock going, "Why is it on right now?"
She's in a constant state of cold when we're doing something here.
She doesn't like talking to Siri either or Alexa. So when I say turn the lights on or off, she's like, "Can we just turn them on? Like, can we just go to the lamps?" So that's Lauren and I. We never we hardly ever disagree and we never fight. But like the the smart home and the thermostat. Those are the areas where we have the most contention.
The one smart home product that I have been able to use and got into this year, and it's actually one of my most used apps the last 2 months, and that is Twinkly. We got a Twinkly Christmas tree, and it is controlled. Everything's controlled by the app. You've got all sorts of different settings, and it's been an absolute game changer. You know I love Christmas. Anybody that knows me very well knows that we are both big Christmas fanatics, and so I don't know why it took us this long to get a Twinkly tree, but I can never go back to any other type of tree. I mean, it's got to be this. The customization, the control that you've got from the apps to create your own settings, it's been phenomenal. My Christmas joy was at least 15% higher this year just from that tree in the app.
Well, that's a big deal for Mr. Christmas across from me right now.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's time we start talking about our favorites.
Yep. Okay.
So I would say you want to do three of our best. Can we narrow it down to 3?
Oh, that's tough.
Or you want to go 5?
Let's go 5.
Okay. I'm going to let you start first.
Okay.
Go
Are
ahead.
we alternating or
no? Just give me your 5,
okay.
and I'll give you my 5, and we'll see if we can agree on a best one.
Scribd, YouTube, podcasts, Waze. Man, I got to choose one more. This is tough.
So you have Scribd, YouTube, podcast, Waze, and there's no social media in there yet.
I know. I've got to choose one. That's where my 5th one is going. And I think because of my love for sports, my interest in weather and keeping up with weather, and the political side of me that likes to see what's going on with news, I've got to give it to Twitter.
Yeah.
It's probably the 5.
Okay. Man, I was hoping you would take longer because it's going to be hard for me. Even knowing that this episode was coming, it's been hard for me. I sound so basic right now saying this. Calendar is going to be on one of my top 5. I am always looking at my calendar.
So am I.
I'm staying on it constantly.
I use my calendar, though, more on the MacBook and the iPad than I do on my phone.
I find myself always going back to my phone for some reason. I use it a lot on both of those too, but I'm constantly, if I'm talking to somebody, I'll just check my calendar.
I want to say that Apple does a better calendar app than any of the other calendar apps.
Yeah.
I've seen some, again, I don't use Android, but looking at different Android phones that other people use when we're comparing stuff, Android calendars just...
I do not like Google Calendar either.
No. Apple Calendar is where it's at.
So Calendar is on my list. The Messages app. Okay.
Really? I mean, that's...
I'm always on it. Well, it does a lot of great stuff. It
100%.
It's the best social media out there if you think about it.
I think... No, you can't use that one, though.
I can't use
that?
No, you can't. I can use Calendar, but I can't use Messages.
I think that one's just a given. I mean, everybody's using the text message app.
Okay. Gosh. All right. Notes app. I know. Okay. I'll take out the default apps. How about that? Does that make you feel better? I'll even remove Calendar. All right.
Let's just
because honestly, like I tend to use those default apps.
Yeah.
The
so
most
do I.
Out of everything.
So do I. And I think Apple does a better job with all of those apps. Especially, and I'm talking to you green bubble people. I mean, you still annoy the living day out of me.
Yeah. Because you can only put max 10 people in a green bubble conversation.
Yeah, it's super annoying. Apple, though, hands down, their default apps, they get their own special category and gold star.
Okay. Podcast app, I use it all the time.
Timeout. It's a default app, but it's like a different...
because you put that in yours too.
I did. But there's other podcast apps that are... Yeah. And Apple's is great.
Spotify's coming in hot, though. I will give Spotify that. They're coming in strong with their app because they've integrated the music and podcasts. It makes searching sometimes tricky, but Spotify is a good resource for podcasts too. So podcast app, I'm going to throw in Amazon.
Oh.
I'm always on
Man,
Amazon.
I didn't think of that.
I like the user experience that they have in their app, so I'm going to throw Amazon in there for number 2 for me. I'm going to I almost threw fantasy football in there, but that that's only seasonal thing, so I'm not going to throw that in there. By the way, I won my league. Okay, you're looking at the 2000. You're looking at the 2000.
Yeah.
Thank you. 2021 League of Ordinary Gentlemen. Almost said podcast champion, fantasy football champion.
What was your team name?
Game of Jones. Yeah, I had Julio Jones, Titans. Yeah, go all. So I'm also going to throw in IMDb.
Oh,
IMDb is one I love to be able to just go in there if I'm watching something and just see who was in it, see, give it a rating, check and see the soundtrack that was in it. Look, what other movies have they been in? I find myself on IMDb a lot. And then what is that, 4 for me? This is back to our old 10 things days when I can't remember. I can't do numbers and count. I've got to include, I'm like you, I have to include a social media platform. And I think as much, I'm trying to process and think which one, if I had to get rid of everything but one, what would it be? And it might be Twitter. Just because I love it for live events.
yeah.
I love it for when we're watching a football game or a basketball game, following along. So I would almost give it to Twitter, but I'm going to give it to Instagram. Just because that's the social media I use the most. The conversations aren't as good there, but I lean toward the creative, and there's just a lot of creative opportunities with that.
We really didn't discuss entertainment apps, things like Apple TV, Disney, Netflix, all of those.
I don't necessarily. That's not how I use
Your app on your phone.
Yeah, I don't use them on my phone much.
What about the iPad?
I just use them on Apple TV. I'm not, even when I travel, I'm taking my Apple TV with me. Like I don't.
So do I.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not watching a lot on my iPad or something like that. Now, if we're doing a road trip or something like that, I'll have it on it while we're driving. But I don't use them on my. I have them on there in case I need them. But I'm not, even YouTube, I don't hardly ever watch YouTube on my phone.
I would agree. It's
So if we're just talking mobile apps, like iPhone apps, it doesn't make my list. Now, if we're talking apps in general, maybe we need to do a whole episode of apps other than iPhone.
Yeah.
They would definitely be on there.
I like your addition of IMDb. That's one I didn't think of. And it's one I use frequently, as do I use Amazon nearly every day. I mean, I've got something being delivered from Amazon practically every day of the week. Those are both great additions. Another one I use very frequently is one called Just Watch. Are you familiar with it?
No.
It's movies, TV. You type in whatever show it is. It shows you every platform that it's on, if it's available for streaming, if it's a paid subscription, if it's a free subscription, or if it's available to purchase on Amazon, iTunes, any place like that. So it's extremely useful if you're trying to think of, okay, where was that show at? Just Watch pulls it up. The other one I use a lot is one called Cheap Charts, which shows you TV and movies that are available for purchase on the App Store, and it keeps track of their. It's a chart that shows you, it's cheaper today than it has been in the last 3 months, or it's more expensive now, wait to purchase it. So I purchase things off of that app based on how it's done. So I would give an honorable mention to Just Watch and Cheap Charts.
Okay. Good honorable mentions. Well, now it's time to figure out which one is the best of today. So I don't know. What is the best app? I mean, do you have any contenders? I don't know that we really, other than the podcast app, I don't know that we had any really overlap.
We did have very different. My 5 again were Scribd, YouTube, podcasts, Waze, and what was my fifth one? Twitter.
Twitter.
You had Twitter.
Oh, no, I changed mine from Twitter to Instagram.
Yeah, you did. You went to
I was
Instagram.
very close to adding Twitter. I had the podcast app. I had Instagram, yeah. Amazon, Imdb, and I don't remember my fifth one either. Because I wanted to put calendar and you wouldn't let me. I wanted to put messages and you wouldn't let me.
Okay, overall, I mean, the best app is the message app.
Yeah. I mean, I think we can say that.
Even though it's not, we're saying it's not allowed in our top 5. It's just a default app. But I mean, what use would we have for our phone without the message app?
That's true. I would even okay. I know what the best app is. I just thought of it. I think you might agree with this too.
Okay.
I think the best iPhone app out there is the App Store.
It was a game changer.
Yeah.
It's
changed
got
everything.
It launched with 500 apps, and to have, almost 2 million apps in it now.
I think that's
The App Store has what you want in it.
exactly.
And
every app you want is in the App Store.
All the genres are there.
Do we agree on that? Can we agree?
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like it's the cheap way out.
Yeah, but who cares? You know what? We got it. The best app. The best app out there is the Apple App Store. Okay. But you know what we got to do now?
Yes.
Okay. Here we go. Here we go.
It may be the best thing today, but is it the best thing of all time? It's time for the best thing battle.
Okay. We got to pit up the Apple App Store versus last week's best thing ever, which was the burnt-in sandwich from Kansas City. Okay? This may be tougher than you think it's going to be. Which one's better?
The burn-in sandwich.
You would give up every app on your phone for that sandwich.
No.
No?
I don't know.
This is our job, man. This is our job.
What is your initial reaction?
My initial reaction was the same as yours. I'm like, it's got to be the sandwich. The sandwich is way better than an app store. But then you think about if we have to pick one.
So we're saying that if the App Store did not exist, we're basically going back to the original iPhone.
Yeah.
Do we want to do that?
No. I don't think we can go backwards.
We are saying that we would be willing to live with an original iPhone to be able to eat the burn-in sandwich.
Okay, I don't know. This is a hard one, and I'm not sure what to say here.
Okay, on the count of 3,
I was thinking the same thing.
we're just going to say the one that we think.
Okay, you ready?
What happens if we tie? What happens? What do we do?
If we agree, it's over.
It's over.
Yeah. If we disagree, they get extra podcasts. They get extra podcast time. We'll do it again and see if we have the same result.
Okay.
We'll if we disagree, we'll have to debate it. And we got to stand by. We got to convince one or the other. Okay. All right. You ready?
3, 2, 1. Right. Okay.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
App Store.
I was gonna say sandwich.
Wow.
But it was really close for me. How close was it for you?
I mean, it's close. It's really close. My gut says go with the sandwich.
Literally.
My gut says that. And a little bit my head, because my head's thinking back to the last burn-in sandwich that I had, which was just a couple months ago, and it was one of the most amazing sandwiches I've ever eaten.
But okay, think about it this way. I think I'm going to lean toward the App Store.
Okay.
Because if you don't have the App Store, you don't know about the burn-in sandwich. You don't know where to get it. You don't know.
No, I learned about the burn-in sandwich that I got off of the Yelp app and off of TripAdvisor.
Yeah. And how do you know the place that you want to go is open?
Yeah.
And you can't take pictures of it to put on Instagram. I mean, yeah.
100%.
The App Store wins.
It does.
Congratulations, App Store. You have. I thought the sandwich would be around for a while.
So did I.
And it just got dethroned by a standard app that comes on your phone.
Another default app.
Okay, wow.
I feel bad about doing that, though.
I do too. To be completely honest with you, I do too.
But I think it was the right choice.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too.
I think a future version of us is going to be happy that we put the App Store ahead of a sandwich.
Maybe. I'm going to listen back to this and go, you idiot. Well, come on. Once we've had one soon.
We need to go do a podcast on location in Kansas City.
Yes.
Eat the burn-in sandwich and look at the App Store while eating the sandwich and see which one brings us the most joy.
That's a great idea. Listen, if you are listening from the Kansas City area and know somebody with a sandwich shop, please, let's make that happen. Like, we would love to come and we'll do a show live there. How about that? Yeah, we'll do a live show from a restaurant, eating sandwiches, playing on the App Store, and talking about our experience. I'm 100% game with that. Okay, Aaron, what's left to do? Anything?
Just the standard reminder to make sure that you're following us on social media. That's where you've heard about us. You can find social media apps in the App Store.
That's true. You can.
Your favorite social media app will be there, and hopefully we'll be on your favorite social media app.
Yeah.
Best Things Pod.
Yep.
That's where you can find us on the socials. And then leave us a review.
Please.
We had some reviews this week.
We did.
5-star. I want to give a shout out.
Yeah. They loved you.
I love those kind of reviews.
Where the Craig people at? Like, I need somebody to say, Craig, you're doing a great job.
So, PT from VA, thank you for the kind words. It's not why I do this, but it's why I do this.
You sounded so humble for a hot second. Like, it's not why I do this. Yeah, just for context, we'll start reading some of these reviews that we get. PT from VA says, great show. Give us 5 stars and said, Aaron is the best part of the show. Now, I will say this. He also added the rolling laughing emoji. So maybe he was being really sarcastic and just, I choose to believe that. That's my truth.
Okay.
That's my truth.
If it's going to help you sleep tonight, we'll go with that.
Okay, well, on that note, we're gonna wrap it up for the show, the episode today. One of those works, right? Show or episode?
Either or.
Show-episode.
Shepisode.
Yeah, either one of those. All right, for the best things, I'm Craig.
I'm Aaron,
and we will talk at you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Best Things podcast. If you like today's episode, give it a 5-star rating on your favorite podcast app. You can also find us on all the socials at Best Things Pod and listen to full episodes on YouTube. To hear your opinion on the podcast, email us at feedback@bestthingspod.com or tap the link in the episode notes to leave us a voicemail, and you can hear your voice on an upcoming episode of the podcast.